Hello, this is Reverend Joseph Andrew Jensen. This is the second part of the Rapture. The Rapture, as I said, will take place September 21st, 2025, in 2 weeks from now. If you don't even go to church on Saturday night, midnight, okay? It'll happen at night between midnight and I'll say 6 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning, like a thief in the night. That's why we have to be awake. During that time, we have to know. I don't know if there'll be any outwardly sign or not, like people disappearing. I don't know that. I don't know because the main thing is going to happen during that time is all those that are dead, that didn't die of for some reason, caused the end of this world, caused trouble in this world, lived a normal life, lived as good a life as they could. They all believed in God. There's no question about that. Everybody believes in life. Everybody wants to live. So everybody believes in God. Every Indian tribe, indigenous tribe or whatever there is, the Eskimos, those in the rainforest in South America or throughout the world, even those in India. In fact, India has more gods than any other gods. Now, are they man-made gods? Of course, so many of them are man-made gods. Most of them are not man-made gods. But there's always one God, like the American Indian Manitou, or the I don't know what they would call the main God. There's always one God that's above all gods. That's God. But it doesn't really matter about religions. That's a man-made term. It's whether you respected life, whether you lived a life that didn't harm another life or control another life. Religion is a word. You can't kill somebody over words and not understanding words. Was it not the Christian, Jesus's words to everybody to spread the gospel to the world? Where have you gone for God? Where have you gone for Jesus Christ? What have you done? Oh, you can profess all day long. You love God. You love God. If you love God so much, you wouldn't be here after the rapture. That's the problem. You didn't love God. You thought you loved God, just like you say you love. It's just like any relative you had, but you never wrote them, you never cared about them, you never really paid attention to them, not until it's time to get the money. And I'm talking about getting the money. The money will be coming the following day. And the money will have to come. Like I said, you will be training to be police officers. You'll be training in martial arts. You'll be training to shoot guns, and you'll be trained to be paramedics. Everybody on this earth that is 18 to 70 will be a police officer, will be a paramedic, will be a conceal and carry to work. Okay? You will, and you'll choose the weapon of your choice. But here's the kicker: everybody will be a millionaire. Everybody will be a millionaire. Some of you will be billionaires. See, when the people don't want to be billionaires, like the people in Burundi, the way it's going to be distributed is going to be beyond the comprehension of anybody. You won't be able to spend fast enough. Everything you ever wish for will be granted. You'll have a debit card and you'll be able to spend, but you have to work. And you have to work, and every job will have a daycare. Every where the children can work with you. Where your wife and your wife or your husband or whatever can work with you. The families can be together. You'll have plenty of help. Daycare is free. A nanny would be free. A maid would be free. Landscaping will be free. Nobody will pay taxes. I don't want your businesses. Just for instance, I'll end up taking over Tesla and SpaceX. I'm not taking over nothing. It still remains, as far as I'm concerned, in charge of Elon Musk and Tesla. Elon Musk. But he won't have any committees. He won't have any shareholders. He won't have any. They lost. They're losing their grip. They're not poor. But when it comes to Sunday, because it's going to cost, Elon Musk is American. Bill Gates is American. Jeff Bezos is American. Bill Gates and Melinda Peach are divorced, and they're two separate entities, but they're both billionaires. Bill Gates has 17 and she has 9, but they will be still maintain their money in God's coin when they decide to change their money in. That's the question. When Elon gets smart, because every day they're going to lose $100,000 per second, per millisecond, per instantaneously lose $100,000 as fast as everybody in the world grabs it. Okay? So how fast is it? Even when the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange opens, before closing bell, it will be there won't be anything left of the dollar bill. It'll be the first one to go, the biggest one to go. So when's he gonna trade? He's got to trade to some point during that time. So he has $410 billion. By the time he might not even have $1 billion to trade. Now how he's going to keep Tesla and how he's going to keep that because he's broke, doesn't matter whether he goes broke. He's still CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. As far as I'm concerned, they all belong to him. I don't want any paperwork for anybody's company. I don't want the paperwork for your home. I don't want the paperwork for your car, for your boat, for your RV, for your land. As far as all your paperwork, you can burn it. Burn it. You owe nobody nothing. There won't be any national debt. They're all paid off. Why? Because with God's coin, I will be paying the wages of everybody that wants to work in America. 18 to 70. Not wants to work, has to work. Who I won't be paying, first off, politicians will be working, but they'll be working for the minimum wage. They'll never make it to 5. They'll get 1 because and they won't be working for anything more than the $100,000 per month. $100,000 per month. That's $1,200,000 a year. Why? And they won't be able to accept gifts, bribes, anything. Why? Because, and here's the thing, you're inheriting you know, at least half of this world in 18-year-old voters. Okay, 18-year-old or more voters. The world's inherited. They're also inherited that many bank accounts. No bank has ever been that big. Now, I'm not going to touch the new Bank of China. It's all commercial and industrial accounts. It stays exactly the same. It's not included in this deal. It's included, but not included. It means everybody working for the new, for the Bank of China, will be working for God's coin. Now, if you're working for God's coin, you can lose your God's coin by trying to be undermine the government, God. If you try to undermine government, like you try to undermine people, take advantage of people, God can see through everything. The devious mind. You can't even get it. You can't put anything past God. He knows what's going on. The security measures will be immense. Why? Because who's inside us, our DNA? The politicians, the religious leaders of this world that were killing everybody. The ones that lied to you. They were hypocrites. They were liars and hypocrites. They just determined the judges in this world, the laws. The laws will be made by the people, and they'll be able to throw the bad politicians out. You know, the ones that must love their job, they're not going to be any further ahead than the ordinary person on the street. They have to love their job. Lawyers, court system, there's not going to be any lawsuits. I settle all the lawsuits. I don't give anybody a dime for what they've done, because you have free medical, unconditional medical. It doesn't matter if you're getting dental work done. It doesn't matter if you're getting, whatever the condition. It's done. If you got a talent to sell, I bought that talent. I bought that company that does that talent. All you got to do is walk in their door. Everybody is going to be a student worker working on the job. Come in off the streets and go to any place you want to work and say, I want a job. Boom, you're hired. You're hired at whatever level of experience that you have. So that means it's $1,200,000 a year salary, starting up front with with one God's coin up front to 5 God's coin up front, and every month after that, you'll have to go. Like I was explaining in the last video, that you will be going to a police academy or a military facility. In a household, every household will go to that place once a month on a weekend, long weekend, 3-week weekend. Everybody will be going to church, and then you can follow your traditions, wear your traditional clothing, but you're not going to wear your traditional clothing. You're not going to wear the hijab, and you're not going to wear let's call it a Muslim garment, anuka. Nucca, okay? Anuka for men, anuki for women, okay? Now let's say that this traditional clothing, it will only be worn as a religious part on the holy days. For Islam and Muslims, they're going to pray 5 times a day. They always will. They can wear their gowns and stuff at prayer if they want to change into those clothes. But other than that, they don't wear it. The women will wear dresses, and they'll have their hair done. They'll get manicures. They'll get their pedicures. They'll wear makeup. They'll do everything they want to do that they never could do before. You want to drink beer? We'll drink beer. You want to whatever you want to do. There's no restrictions. on the holy day, then you can go to your restrictions. The moonshiners can go ahead and make moonshine. It makes no difference. There's not going to be a drug and alcohol. Why? Because as far as big pharma's gone down. That's a business I'm going to absorb. Every drug business, every drug manufacturer, I'm going to absorb their business, and I'll decide whether it's a good drug or bad drug. And anything with any side effects is not going to get made. So big pharma, you're out of the question. You just don't have any stockholders or anybody there. I'm the one that decides whether it lives or dies, whether the people keep making a bad drug or not, which you're not. I don't care if they put cocaine back in Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Makes no difference. Like I said, a person with the talents of moonshiners, you'll have help. And if you want to make it outside in the woods, then you go make it outside in the woods to make it taste better. And you explain that on your label to sell it. It makes no difference. This is God's world. He put those things in this world for a reason. Who are we to say they're no good for you? They're not. These last years of generations to come, the next 2 generations are not going to be restricted. Criminals won't be haunted by their history. They're going to be able to have a change in their history. They're given a second chance, and they'll be able to work in God's services, just like anybody else. But if they try to go back to anything doing any wrong, guess what? They'll lose their God's coin temporarily until they paid, done their sentence, paid their restitution, and then it's straightened up. The same thing with people that are, people that are homosexuals, the gay people. Keep it to yourselves. Keep your life hidden. Don't try to recruit others into your life, because God's not an acceptable life to God. And He doesn't want others involved in it. You do your own thing. Keep it to yourself. Don't try to con anybody into your lifestyle. You live your own lifestyle, and you live your own way. There'll be plenty of people helping you, but they'll also be watching you. Nurses, daycare workers, people like that. They see you raise your hand to your children. Guess what? You're not going to hit your wife or your children. You see your wife mistreated, you're more than free to leave each other, divorce each other, go find somebody that will take care of your children and your wife. Wives, you can leave your husbands. Yes, husbands, you better straighten up, or you'll lose your wives. Now, if a woman is promiscuous and she just can't find her children are not going with her. You know who's going to decide where the children go? God's going to decide. You know what He's going to do? He's going to leave your children where they're best taken care of, and that's in daycare. That be so be it. If it's being adopted to new families, it's going to be women that will be paid to have children a year's wages in God's coin, a year's God's coin of whatever salary she's making, whether it's 1 to 5 God's coin per month. She'll get that a year's salary up front, and she'll get everything. Yeah, this doesn't mean her family can take a break. That means she can take a break a year off. If she miscarried, she still gets to say she still has her money. That's what I'm talking about. And you'll have plenty, all the medical in the world, all the daycare centers, everybody watching out for gyms, health spas, people doing hair. Anything will be free. Grocery stores will be basically free. Anything you do will be basically free. If you want something, will be basically free, because you will have a debit card. The debit card that's given to you to the bank for your God's coin will automatically okay everything, just so that we can keep track of what you're spending in the bank. And we'll only do that God's coin is good for 20 years. You got 20 years to use it or lose it, but the they'll always spend the oldest of the God's coin first. They're never gonna, do it the other way around. So you're never gonna lose one out of God's coin. Like I said, 1 or 2 generations go by in God's new world. That means all the wicked should be gone. All the wickedness, the people that's caused all this mess were part of this mess. If you're a Satanist, or if you're you're not going to get a chance to blow somebody up or blow a crowd up or get your word out again. There's no way. We're going to hold, they're just not going to be in this world, because God, if God hasn't proven himself by now, you're living off of God. The only reason why you're alive is because of God. A and I, we're all going back to Microsoft XP before the year 2000, the Y2 movement. They're going back to filmmaking with regular films. Digital will still be around in a very limited way. All records, it's doing this to purge all the records that are ever kept, all the contact information. It's all going to be just useless. We're going to open the doors. Everything the government does is going to be on reality TV. All the hidden things. Things that you guys better look at words up like, and people up like the Stanley and Stephen Myers that invented a hydrogen engine that would run their doom buggy that they created with a hydrogen engine could ran for 2,800 miles in the distance between LA and New York on 22 gallons of water. It didn't even have to be clean water, he said in his commercial. It didn't have to be clean water. It could be sewer water. It could have been ocean water. It didn't. It could have been snow. It would run. Now it's not going to be like in Back to the Future where it's running off of. Well, it didn't. It didn't. If I remember the movie right, it didn't run off of a Coke can. Maybe it did. Maybe I think he did throw the Coke can in there with it. But no, it could run off a Coke for a while. Why not? The point of the matter is, the world's going to change. It won't have a need for petroleum. It won't have a need for gold. Well, it still have a need for gold because it has so many God's coin. But God's going to be determined. Certain things go to invest to get all the gold out of the ground. It's going to invest in Parker and Tony and Rick on God, the ones that been. It's going to help them find the gold, and that's going to supply them because it's my business. It's my business. I want to do, and get the stuff out of the ground so that we can recover it and get the hell out of there. Recover it to the best we can, and then get out of there. So I will have wash plants made. I'll have them delivered by the military. The military will fly them in, and it won't be driven in through the blocked passages. They'll be flown in by the military. Logistics. Everything will be done and helped to get these things done. People will be able to cross the lines between Russia and the United States when it comes to fishing and things. There won't be any lines. Russia and the United States will not be controlled by their countries anymore. Money, because the money, I own the countries in both countries. I'm going to say, get what you can. It doesn't matter. Get what you can. And when it's talking about a renewable resource, it doesn't have to be a renewable thing, because the world's not going to last that long. Get what you can now. You know, because we don't got to worry so much about. We'll restore everything to like right afterwards, but not. This is not the future. Our future is in another world. Our future is changing our hearts and our minds. Our future is to believe in God, believe in another world, not this planet, but this world. We'll all be in the other world when we die from this world. And that's what God never repent for any soul to ever be lost. Billy Graham's not going to be in the rapture. I can almost assure you of that. No, neither is any preacher nowadays. Why? Because you got it wrong. You taught people wrong. You led people wrong. You get it wrong in a day. You separated. You as a group. You was going to go to heaven, and they weren't. You said innocent children, babies were born in sin. You got it wrong. That's a bad statement to make, judging the world that way. By the way you was taught. You was taught wrong, and you preached wrong. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. But this is an important video for all of you to understand. I'm going to stop it now. But understand, September the 21st, you better have a midnight service. And be ready to what. And if you're still here after there, you missed the boat. But you didn't miss the boat. Your adventure is going to start the next day when everybody gets God's coin. I will absorb all the money that Elon has, but he won't have any more committees. He won't have any more. In other words, he'll be the CEO and owner of Tesla. He'll be the CEO, and he'll be considered the owner, but he's not the owner. I'll be the owner. Okay. But he'll be the CEO. As far as I'm concerned, I'll give it back to him. But he doesn't know his place too, because he scammed me out of a lot of money. That he promised me $100,000 in a white Tesla Model Y, which I'll have. You got to make good. I want my white Model Y Tesla, and I want more than that. Elon, if you're listening to this, you will build my bank in Cairo and headquarters. The bank itself will take 150-foot, 40-foot containers that you'll get a God's coin a piece, $100,000 a piece. So that's a $15 million job to build my bank, a $15 million bank. And then the headquarters is going to be twice that many. So it's going to be 300 40-foot containers. You got the job, and I expect it out of you. I'll be investing your money. Everybody will get one God's coin, up to 5 God's coin for the handicap. A month. Plus you're going to get one for being born. Newborns expect to get one God's coin every birthday. It'll be automatic. From the day you're born. You're born into this new world. Know this, that once you die, you're going to immediately be with Jesus. It's not going to be any time between it, where the dead in Christ will rise, because the dead in Christ are already risen. Well, who's left inside DNA are dangerous, very dangerous. That's why we have to be police. That's why we have to be military. That's why we have to be armed. We can never let them have an upper hand on us. Okay, good night.